This is the stockinette stitch, which is a combination of knit stitches and purl stitches used in a flat project. So we'll be knitting one direction and then purling back on the back side, and it's going to give a very different look compared to the garter stitch where we were knitting front and back all the way through. So some things are the same. We're still going to hold the needle with the stitches on it in our left hand, and we're going to hold the empty needle in the right. So looking at this now, we can see, I've just cast on a few stitches again here. Looking at this side of it, we can see that we have what are called the purl bumps on the back here, purl ridge on the back. If we look at the other side on the front, well, it's a bit hard to see so far, but you don't see those same bumps. It looks smoother there. So we're going to call that our front side, and this is going to be our back. So we're going to purl our way along this to get down the back side, and then we'll do our knitting on the front side, and we'll have a look at how that looks. So we're going to take again the right needle. Instead of going the direction we would for a knit stitch, we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to go right to left, and we're going to go over top of that bottom needle. So different than the knit stitch. So here we go. We're going to go right to left. The other difference is that the yarn is now going to be in front of our work. So for our knitting, we were holding it in the back. For our knit stitches, we'll look at that again, but now it's in the front. With this first stitch again, I'm going to hold my tail together with the yarn from the ball, just so the stitch doesn't loosen, and we're going to pull that off there. Okay, so we're going to let that tail do its own thing, and we're going to continue purling across here. So again, we're going to go right to left on top of that bottom needle now, right? So we still have that cross, but different. And then again, going counterclockwise around. So everything's sort of opposite. Right to left, right needle is on top, yarn in the front, and we're going counterclockwise around that needle. So just finish our way down this row. Same as before, you want your stitches to be formed right up on the bigger part of the needle so they don't get really tight on the tip. And you can start to see that we've got another line of purl bumps forming there. Okay, and then just finish off last couple. Okay. So there we go. So now, again, it's still really small, so it's hard to see. But on this side, so this is going to be our front side, we can start to see these little knit V's. So it looks quite smooth. And then on the back side, we've got our 2 rows of purl bumps now. So this way of knitting, this stockinette stitch, is quite different because it's going to make a very different type of fabric, where one side is smooth and the other side has the bump. So we're going to knit our way back here. So now I've got my yarn in the back. I'm going left to right and clockwise around that needle. So we'll just get through this one and then have another look at what our front and back looks like. And then as I get back to this first stitch, it's gonna look doubled because I knitted with the tail in there as well. So it looks like 2 loops, but it's really just 1 stitch. So I'm just gonna go through both, knit them both off, and we're done. So we'll just have a little look. It's just a very small sample, of course, but you can really start to see the difference here. So our front side, we've got, well, 2 rows plus the cast on of knit stitches. And then if we look at the back, we've got our rows of purls as well. So you can see it's quite different compared to the garter stitch that looked the same front and back with the alternating smooth and bumpy rows. So that's our stockinette stitch and starting to use purl.